Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Try-F Podcast, where we try not to F the podcast up. And today, so let me recap on what's going on. So I am attempting to make an attempt at a nonfiction book, and I'm in the research phase of that nonfiction book. And the premise of the book is how evolution got into cinema.
What's the book
and
called?
Since this book, Darwin Goes to Hollywood, that's the working title. Don't know if that's actually going to end up being the title. I don't know if this book is even going to get published. So, but this book project has replaced my research time for the podcast. So my brain is currently filled with all things H.G. Wells at the moment. And so I'm just like, the only way I know how to reconcile my time issue here is to basically vomit onto the audience what I've been researching. So
vomit away.
I'll vomit away. So Bad Intro says, I come here to give you guys crap while I game and hopefully boost your algorithm a bit. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you.
What are you gaming?
LOL. Yeah, Trevor's big into gaming. And then
I wouldn't say big.
Bad Intro says, that might be a published book idea. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope. We'll see. But I've been vomiting on that or obsessing over that subject. So, and the first, suspect number one as to how evolution became popular, because there's two ways to actually frame the question. You know, there's what made evolution mentioned in cinema and what made it like an idea that people agree with, people like, what popularized evolution in cinema. And those are two different questions, because you have the horror genre, which had a lot of evolution stuff in it, but they at the time they didn't, in the 30s, the 20s, early cinema, they didn't know what evolution was. They didn't really understand the theory. So everything from radiation to glands is being blamed. And really it was being used as like this ad hoc rationale for the mad scientist. So it's not really affirming the theory. It's just trying to explain why the mad scientist is mad.
Oh.
And so to say that, the horror genre really introduced evolution to cinema, I kind of think that's a red herring. I don't really agree with that. Bad Intro says, Darwinism is having major pushback in current history, so making a nonfiction book about it could be a winner. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I certainly hope so. I get the same sense as you have. I think people are starting to realize that theory is just goofy. But anyway, I think the more accurate understanding of cinema and how cinema popularized evolution is really through sci-fi. I think sci-fi is actually the main culprit. And the chief suspect in the genre of sci-fi is H.G. Wells. So, who was a student of Huxley, T.H. Huxley, who was the uncle of Aldous Huxley, who wrote Brave New World. And Huxley was known, T.H. Huxley was known as Darwin's bulldog. So he was the initial popularizer of evolution as well. And so the idea that you have the guy making evolution popular, teaching the guy who became one of the most prolific science fiction writers in history, kind of makes me personally, again, you're getting the in real time research process here. I'm not finished by any stretch, but right now I'm sitting here looking at H.G. Wells going, that's a little bit of a strong connection, and I have a feeling that H.G. Wells is really the main culprit as to why. And his first book that he published, I believe it was his first book, was called The Time Machine. And this is really interesting. So we're going to start by actually reviewing the movie, and then I'm going to contrast the movie with the book, because they're actually quite different. And really, I think Wells probably would not have been very happy with The Time Machine, because it didn't validate his attempt with the novel. I know he wasn't happy with The Island of Dr. Monroe, and I think he wasn't happy because they really hyped up the whole mad scientist using evolution as a pretense for his motives. I don't think, from what I understand, Wells was not happy with that adaptation of his work. So I don't think he would have been happy with the movie. But just to kick things off and keep things a little light and quirky, we're gonna watch the basically, we're gonna watch the 1960s commercial for the Time Machine. I found this quaint.
Heck yeah.
Such stories as H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds and Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea have challenged mankind. So today, man is successfully probing deep into the mysteries of the universe. Can he penetrate the greatest mystery of all, time itself? It took the creative magic of George Pal and the fabulous production know-how of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer to catapult you through time into a world that is yet to be.
Why is it that we usually ignore the fourth dimension? You see, we can move in the other three. As the doctor said, up, down, forwards, backwards, sideways. But when it comes to time, we are prisoners.
Inventor Rod Taylor's breakthrough into the realm of the fourth dimension is defied by his friend Alan Young.
If that machine can do what you say it can, destroy it, George, before it destroys you.
Every moment is a year, hurtling through the atomic wars of the future on an incredible excursion into the unknown. What are the people like? Ah, the shape of things to come. It's lovely Yvette Mimieux. And what happens when boy meets girl thousands of years hence?
How do they wear their hair?
Who?
The women of your time.
Up like that?
Show me.
Is this the human race of the future? Or is this the Morlocks, fiendish creatures who live in a weird underground world? And the Eloi, the tranquil sunshine people, who the Morlocks dominate and maintain like cattle, luring them below with the hypnotic wail of the sirens, to feed upon them in cannibalistic horror.
All right, I know it's a little late, but I've got to pause it at least once just for transformation purposes. Yeah, this is not how the book goes at all, in case you were wondering. Like, the Eloi were not attractive blondes. We'll just start there. But anyhow.
Well, it's Hollywood. They had to throw that in there.
Yeah, they gotta do that at some point.
And I was thinking Planet of the Apes, would jump in there at some point.
Yeah,
when he started talking about the aliens, I was like, "Oh, it's Planet of the Apes."
Whatever do you mean? All right, so
in
that
futuristic Metro color.
Yeah, so that is the Time Machine. So this is not how the book goes. First of all, the Eloi look nothing like Yvette here. They look more like this. Basically, they're androgynous Keebler elves. That's not as captivating, I guess. And there's a specific reason for this. Namely, Bad Interest says the quality was mesmerizing.
Mesmerizing.
Yeah, so there's what they're supposed to look like. So, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. So, yeah, I know. I laugh. Bad Interest says LOL. I kind of laugh at it too, because it's just the point Wells was trying to make was, I'm trying to figure out a simple way to explain it. Basically, he was doing the social Darwinism thing, but he was taking a different take than, I think, like Herbert Spencer. Now, there's a school of thought in social Darwinism that's basically capitalism is good, you need competition, that's how we evolve and everything like that. But there was another take, and this would be H.G. Wells's take, that is, in order to evolve, you have to beat evolution, as weird as that sounds. And so their thinking was, in order to get past the trap of natural selection, and this is kind of my take on Wells so far, in order to get past the trap of natural selection, you have to defeat the competition element. And so he had this idea of, getting experts to unify the world. He's one of the original one world government creepers. So,
Survival of the fittest.
Well, survival of the fittest is like, you have two camps. You have survival of the fittest is a good thing, and from what I'm understanding so far, I think that's Herbert Spencer. And then you have Huxley and Wells in another camp saying, no, we've got to beat natural selection.
Oh, okay.
So you've got natural selection is good, natural selection is something to overcome. We've got to be the selectors. We can't let nature do it. That kind of thing. So H.G. Wells falls in this latter camp, and The Time Machine is essentially a cautionary tale about letting natural selection run amok. That's really what he's going for. So what essentially happens is you have two classes, the proletariat and the bourgeoisie. Now, the proletariat are the working class, the people who have wages. This is Marx theory. So you have the proletariat, and then you have the bourgeoisie, which are the rich, or since we're filthy Americans, the middle class. Like anybody who has wealth and means. And essentially, the Eloi are the bourgeoisie who continuously use their intellect to pursue leisure. They just keep chasing leisure, and they eventually become weak and feeble and androgynous. And the Eloi become primitive, ape-like creatures who still know how to run machines. And so for Wells,
Aliens,
goblins, but monsters, underground, that kind of thing.
I got you.
Yeah, so
Reptilians.
There you go. But you see, monkeys are more appropriate because apparently we came from them or something.
Oh,
So, yeah.
monkey reptilian hybrid.
Monkey reptilian. That's the sound of thunder.
Bigfoot reptilian
Okay.
hybrid.
Anyway, so that's what Wells was getting at. Wells was wanting to create this dichotomy between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, and his idea was eventually the Eloi or the bourgeoisie would win to the point that they would force the proletariat underground, presumably because they didn't want to look at them. But then some catastrophe happens, and the proletariat become the Morlocks, and the Morlocks decide to start treating the weakened Eloi like cattle. And by the time all this happens, the Eloi are too stupid to fight back, and so the Eloi essentially become livestock. And that was his cautionary. That was his cautionary tale. He's kind of like saying where he thinks capitalism would ultimately go. He's posturing this potential outcome, because that's something that Wells was into. You see this in The Shape of Things to Come. Like he's really just guessing about what the world's going to look like, in the future because of natural selection and all of this. And his first book, The Time Machine, really leans into that. And so you don't see this kind like Wells really trying to make an attempt into cinema, though, until you get to Things to Come, the movie, which is in 1936, and then he really leans into this equivocation between evolution and communism, essentially. Of course, he wouldn't have called it communism. He would have called it socialism or some sort of hybrid thing. In my opinion, it's a little bit worse than communism, because his whole attitude is, we can't let the unwashed masses overthrow the bourgeoisie. They're stupid. They'll burn everything down. We have to have experts do it. So that was, his big gripe with communism, ironically. But anyway, so that is the major distinction between the book and the movie. The movie, because it was shot in 1960, did not want to touch his communist leanings with a 10-foot pole. And so they kind of... Because it's the height of the Cold War, and the Russians are communists, and we're Americans. We're
Do you
not...
want me to repeat my joke on that?
What was your joke?
You don't remember?
No, you throw so many out there.
Well, the Cold War wasn't that cold.
I don't remember you ever making that joke. And I'm
Yeah.
sad you made it now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. I'm kidding. I'm joking. But anyway, so I dropped my pen. Anyway, where was I? Dad, blame it. Lost my train of thought. Okay, so that's the first major distinction. Weena, there is no guy saving the girl dynamic as well. Oh, that's what it was. The writers didn't want to do the communism affirmation thing, so they went with kind of an anti-war narrative. Be careful of war and all this. They have like the lawyer baited into the Morlock Slayer with World War II air raid sirens. It's like the whole thing is very be careful of war. War is really bad. That kind of deal. So
it kind of reminded me of just seeing the first part of like a Doctor Who episode.
Yeah, there is some Doctor Who influence there. Very much so. You are right. You are right. Now, I like the 1960 movie more so than the book. But the thing I hate more than both of them is the 2002 version of A Time Machine, which is just insane. So, for some blasted reason, they thought that nobody was going to like Wells's version of things. Nobody was going to like the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Nordic-type peoples because apparently that was going to be like racist or something. So even back in 2002, you're still kind of seeing the DEI social justice stuff creep up a little bit. And,
fun.
Yeah, because this is their vision of the future in the 2002 version, which is just, hey guys, those Eloi, they're not like these dreamy flower children, nor are they like androgynous Keebler elves. They're just regular native people like you see in the modern day. There's no difference. Nothing weird. And it's like the worst of both worlds because the androgynous Keebler elf thing, like you have nobody to root for in the book. And in the 1960s thing, it's just like these goofy flower children, but at least they're kind of going for like a Garden of Eden motif. Like it looks like we've reached perfection, but we really haven't. So there's like an idea of contrast, like juxtaposing a seeming paradise of like this horrible world underground. So there's like something interesting there in the juxtaposition between the Garden of Eden and like the underworld, you might say. But in this, I don't know what they were going for. It was like, we're going to do something different. We don't know what we're saying by doing something different, but these are our Eloi because we don't want to be seen as racist. That's like the only thing I could think of. I don't know why they would make this choice. And what's even more bizarre is the whole point of the Eloi is that they're lazy. Like in both versions, they're lazy. In the 1960s version in the book, they play around, they swim, and they're like apathetic. They're not that invested.
They're kind of like me.
No, not like you. You're not blonde-haired. But anyway.
Oh.
So, no, I'm kidding, Trevor. Anyway. No, what? But these people, they've like got these elaborate houses glued to cliffs. They're like building structures all the time. They live in a bamboo thing, and they're always building they're like still building. They still have tech. They've got a bunch of signs that they've glued to the wall to preserve the English language. Like these are like active people that are still doing stuff. So the whole evolutionary process, as it were, is still very much going on in the book, in that movie. So it's like, well, what are you even saying here? It's just, there's like, there's no point there's nothing different about the Eloi. So why even bring them up? They're just another like native tribe. It doesn't make any sense. And it like weakens the whole point of the story, even if you don't like the moral of the story. So anyway, Bad Intro says, oh, Turtle, as far as games, I just play single player stuff, really. I'm not up to date on games. My friends all aged out.
Yep. I get that too.
Well, there you go. See, I'm a nerd. I never even really played games except Smash Bros. I was moderately okay at Smash Bros.
We could do a Smash Bros. Thing.
We could. I'd lose. I haven't played in like a decade. But yeah, we could.
It's been a while since I played, but it hadn't been a decade, but
Yeah.
maybe a year.
Anyway, so this is the 2002 version. I wouldn't recommend it to a dog. And
Why not? Bark, bark.
I just got to telling you. It's like there's nothing like interesting about it. It's just another tribe. And they kind of completely miss the point of going into the future. Like, the point is to see where humanity ends up. Well, the process of evolution or whatever in humanity is still very much ongoing in the 2002 version.
So they just kind of went out in the woods and said, hey, let's make a movie.
Yeah, it was like, we'll meet the future. It's the same as the past. It's kind of, yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, if you like the movie, okay. I mean, I'm not going to get mad because you like the movie, but I didn't, mostly because I liked the 1960 version better. I at least understood what they tried to take Wells's communist crap and make something good out of it, and I at least appreciated that. I don't know what they were doing in the 2002 version. It's interesting. And look, the Morlocks are supposed to be dumb. And so having Jeremy Irons as like the master warlock with the white hair and psychic powers didn't make any sense to me at all. That was kind
Now
of
I
a
have
cheap
to watch it.
Well, see, now I'm just advertising for the movie. Oh, well, what are you going to do? So that's the Time Machine. That's a pretty brief overview of all three movies in the book.
There were three movies?
Well, it's three versions of the story, I should
I
say. Yeah, forgive me, I'm stupid.
You're not stupid.
Yeah. See, me too. He goes, oh, dude, he gave me Dark Elf vibes from Warhammer 40K. I completely agree with that. I actually know that reference. You're right. That's exactly what they were going for. And I didn't like it at all. So, anyway, yeah. That's the three Time Machine, very abbreviated reviews of all three stories. I wouldn't recommend the book. The book is crap. I like the 1960s version. And I guess as for 2002, the 2002 version, to each his own. I didn't like it. Bad Intro likes it. Trevor's going to go watch it now because I apparently convinced him to watch it. Because
I'm going to watch both of them at the same time.
Good luck with that.
It's easy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're a super genius then.
How?
Because I couldn't watch two things at the same time.
Oh.
But maybe I'm just a moron. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're going to wrap this section up. I think that's the Time Machine. I might go over Dr. Monroe next week. If people respond to this kind of format at all, I don't even know if this is going to work. I'm just trying
I
it.
like your reviews, but that's just me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So we'll keep it going for a little bit and see if people like it as well. So, all right, we're going to move on to the next subject, which is the Annabelle doll. What's the guy's name? I keep forgetting the guy's name.
Matthew Rife.
Matthew Wright. Yeah, he bought Ed and Lorraine's stuff, so we're going to move on to that. So, if you are still on the live stream, stay with us. We're moving on to part 3. If you are watching this after the fact, guys, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.